Oopsie daisy. Let me go back over to here. Let's start there. And so we've got 4 people according to the little stats thing on there for YouTube. Oh wow, what's going on there now? Huh, odd. Well, it says I have an excellent connection and that it is in fact live. And you know, I think I might go. I was going to play Sokoban tonight if I can. All right, what am I doing here? Let's go to there, and then I'm going to do this. Oh, I better do this over here. That's a good spot for that for the moment. All right, let's see if this will be easier for me to deal with. What do we want to play? Oops. Get in the right window, man. I think I've played these before. Oh no, I haven't played these. I don't like those like that. I don't know what it is, but something about smileys. I should have remembered that. What are these? No. I don't like the checkerboard style ones. Okay, we got people commenting. Hey, James Morrison. Matthew Patterson, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Happy Saturday. Streaming Saturday. Yeah, Streaming Saturday doesn't quite have the same ring as Mind Test Monday, though. There's a fly in here. Hey, Roberto. Hi. What are these ones? Airy. All right. Oh, you know what? Yeah. I've tried that one and it stumped me. I don't feel like being stumped tonight because I'm just too lazy. You know, maybe I should just go do octortal practice then. How about that? As my brain is feeling lazy. So let's do sequence, I guess. And let me move stuff around a bit, I think, maybe. I guess shrink this one. Oh, and some of you have noticed probably that there's 2 things for the timer now, which I'm going to go ahead and start. So, come back here. There we go. All right. So actually, I'll go back to this part here so we can. So Weekend Whispers with William. There you go. That's not bad, James. So I'm habitually going over the kind of hour and a half that I plan on doing these things and, you know, that kind of thing. So I've decided I'm going to extend it. So it's going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes, but every 20 minutes I'm going to stop and I'm going to put the Be Right Back image up and I'm going to go stretch my back for a minute or 2 and then come back, because that way I can go longer. And but yeah, I mean, so I think that'll work. So that's what we're going to do. So that's what the 2 timers are. So when one goes off in 20 minutes, that means I got to go away for a minute and stretch my back. Anyway, that's the plan. Oh, and also when I figure it out, I didn't think about it until I was getting ready to do this tonight, but I think I'm going to, if I can make it, I think I can make this work, but I think because of the ads, the way they go, I think I can make the ads coincide with the breaks that I want to do every 20 minutes. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen next time. So that way you'll be warned when the breaks are, you know, coming as well as ads. You know what I mean? That's my hope. We can kind of make that. Anyway, I'm going to see what I can do about that. Anyway, comments. Oh no, I'm still using the tripod thing. It's going to have to be this way. You know what I mean? Just because I mean, it's the only way I can get the camera to stand where I want it to stand without the weight of the cable. You know what I mean? It's like, the cable's short enough that the weight doesn't matter, then it won't reach where I want it to go on my on top of my screens or monitors, whatever you want to call them. And if you know, anyway, this is fine. It's just going to take me getting used to. But yeah, I'm still using the tripod thing. And I have, you can probably see, here's my using the TV tray for keeping my water. Let's have a little bit of water, as well as the brush and the beard brush and the chunk of wood and the crinkle bag and my various ASMR triggery surprises, or not surprises, but you know, whatever. Anyway, yeah, and the way you can kind of see from what I have. So the tripod's there and the screens are like right there. So it's like, yeah, it's fine. Stop complaining, Bill. You know, I don't know what the purple crown and sun text means. I wouldn't have the slightest idea. What does that mean? Who knows the answer to that? Not me. All right, I'm going to go over to the gaming window again, because I'm going to buy out of the way here, I think, more or less enough. Yeah, let's shrink this just a touch more. There we go. There we are. Yeah, that's good enough. So I'll go over here and we'll say... So... Good evening, Catherine C. You texted and got 25 XP. I don't get it. Oh, is that what it is? Okay. So who's the most chatty? Hey Rob, how's it going? Wow, you know, I guess they're doing everything they can to just get engagement up, aren't they? You know, that's fine. You know, cool. If people like doing it, then let them do it. Yeah. Anyway, what am I doing here? I don't know what that's going to be. Let's do plum. Oh, there we go. Flame. That's it. And probably stunned. Yeah. And chime. And apart. And drive, maybe. Stain, I guess. Oh, shade. See, now I just realized that I have this mic set in a very inconvenient position because of trying to read the game screen over there. And this is what? Probably cower. No, what? Core. Silliness. Okay, let me see if I can catch up on the comments. Hey, Rob. Wow. Okay. Well, let me set aside my keyboard now. So I'm going to put that over there. And, okay, again, we know how this goes with the generosity thing. Right? So, 3 cheers for Rob. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. And the crowd goes, ah, ah. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And now I have to, all right, hang on. Okay, I guess, okay. It's all talking about the ratings thing. And it's a hip hop hooray. Yeah, you know, that's not, sure, why not? You know, play some, yeah, you know, if somebody, I don't know, is that what everybody wants? If you get the highest score, I'll give you a 3 cheers thing. Yes, 3 cheers for you, Rob. Oop. Stop doing that. appreciate the fact that you appreciate me. How's that? Good way to get rid of a body, you know. I don't know. Let's see if we can give that some serious thought, shall we? I don't know. I always figured you just use like some kind of acid. What would be an acid that would really just chew everything organic up? I don't know. Oh, well, I'm drawing a blank. I guess I wouldn't make that good of a murderer, so. Now, does that speak well of my character, or does it just speak ill of my inability to, you know, plan difficult tasks? I don't know. All right. So we'll do the typical joint freak. That's going to be shiny, isn't it? I don't know what that one's going to be. Probably sleep, maybe. Yeah, probably. Nope. Spell. All right. And Abby. No. Oh, I wasn't paying attention, was I? Because oh, no, that's fine. What was I thinking? Never mind. Beady. All right, and pasty. And ascot. And panic. And what is this shade? Oops. There we go. And drain. Wow, okay. There's another one of these, and then I'll check the timer, I guess. Giant freak. Inter. All right, and then But raising eyebrows for sure, yeah. Big drums of that. Holy mackerel. Anyway, all right. I don't know, I'm not seeing it. Well, let's put in the plum. Repel, maybe? Okay. Shove. Sniff. I'm not sure what this one is. Laddie? No. Dally? Is that how you spell Dally? Okay. And oh, sworn, isn't it? All right, and then tiger. And oops. D-O-W-R-Y. Right. All right, here we go. Let me look at this thing here real quick. I still have some time. I'll play another one of these. Not a good start, is it? And speed. No. Sweep. There we are. Dough. There we go. And spurt. And what in the world? tuple. All right. 7 maybe. Nope, I wasn't paying close enough attention again either. Sense and moist. Oh nope. Midst and sound and liver, I guess. And cushy joint freak. Usher and I'm not sure what that's going to be. Rager maybe. No. Eager and youth and score and pagan and bison and stoop and brood. What do you know? Let me go to the other one that's not the sequence one. Go here and there and there we go. Hey Rob. Okay, yeah, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't heard it already, that streams are now 2 hours and 20 minutes long. But what I'm doing is you'll see there's 2 timers. One's till next break, and one is the evil timer as we know it, right? So in order for me to be able to do for the longer period of time, I figure I'll do it at 20-minute stretches. So I'll do it for 20 minutes, and then I'll take a break, and then, you know, start the next clock and whatever, right? Like that. So that way my back won't be killing me by the end of it, and you guys can have more time. If I drink a lot. Oh, man. I don't know, dude. Man. Okay. I've already got cushy ash, joint, and freak. Well, trick looks like that's pretty obvious. And what's that one going to be? Oh, it could be drink or brink. Ah, yeah, well, then, now we got you caught up, Rob. So what am I doing here? Ethos. Okay, did that help me anywhere else? Really? No? All right, I'm going to try the plum thing. Okay, that's going to be raspy. Title. Loopy maybe. And over there is guess grout. All right. Drink. That's okay. And what's that one there? Slaw, maybe? There we go. I need to buy a fly swatter. So skate is probably that one down there. Oh, skate, that makes me think when I come back from my first break, I will show you. I got the stickers for my skateboard. So you'll see the 3 stickers I put on the bottom of my skateboard. It's amazing how much that amuses me. All right, I guess that one's theme, isn't it? And so that one's going to be amuse. Then comet. Then stash. Oh, alloy. Well, before you start thinking I'm too much of a legend there, Roman Trip, I used to skateboard like pretty enthusiastically, and I kind of fell out of it like, you know, a lot of guys do as you get older. But I was going through some stuff either at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, I don't remember exactly when, but I found my old Fiberflex deck from the late 70s. It was my first decent deck. And so I decided to buy some, because it used to be the Fiberflex deck with Bennett Pros and then some wheels. You know, since I'm talking about the skateboard, I'll go ahead and get out of the game mode for a minute. We can always come back to this. And anyway, so it used to have Bennett Pros, and I don't remember the wheels. They were just these red wheels. Anyway, so I have it. They're not Bennett Pros, but Bennett still makes skateboards. They're Vector, I think is what they say, but on them now. And they're a little bit wider than the Pros were, which is fine because it's silly. But and then I got some red wheels, but they're much bigger than what I used to ride because I'm not going to be doing any tricks or anything. I can barely roll it across the room with me standing on it right now. So, but my intention is to get it and just be cruising down the street. You know what I mean? Just to have a little bit of fun, improve my sense of balance, that kind of shit. So. Yeah, but I haven't actually stood on a skateboard with any, serious intent to, I was never much at tricks. Oops, there we go. Time for me to take my first thingamabob. So where'd it go? Come back here. Doink. That was going. Okay. So I'm going to be right back, gang. Okay, and I'm back. So let me click this guy, and then we'll do this guy. And there we go. So that wasn't too horrible. Let me see if I missed any comments. Oh, right. I forgot. Yeah, Robert gave us the second thing, and then I didn't do the 3 cheers. Thank you for reminding me. That was really crappy, wasn't it? So I'm going to put that aside for a moment. And so Rob's second round of 3 cheers. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. And the crowd goes, oh. Sorry about skipping over that, Rob. That was kind of messed up of me, but okay. We got everything squared away now. All right. Up. Yeah, right. Well, I appreciate the talk up, Jared, but yikes. I was okay. I wasn't that good at tricks, so that's what I was starting to say before. Mostly what I liked doing was just riding around and doing ramps and that kind of thing. I don't know. I used to also like jumping over things, like using ramps as a, oh man, my mom had to take me to the emergency room a gazillion times. Never broke a bone, but there's bunches of times she's like convinced I had, but yeah, no broken bones. A lot of swelling, but no broken bones. Anyway, so here it is. And it's more or less finished form now. So there's the, it's the original grip tape and everything, right? You can see there's a little bit of a break right there. But yeah, it's, not bad shape. And now here's the red wheels. They're hogs. And they're what, 6378A. So that's, pretty big and pretty soft. But, I'm just using them for cruising. So anyway, so you can see the trucks there, right? And then there's the stickers, right? So Fiberflex, Bennett, hogs, right? And there you go, kind of a nice little simple. And you'll notice it's not perfectly lined up, right? If you're doing a skateboard thing, man, you can't be all anal retentive and perfectly line them up, man. They got to be a little bit off. Anyway, so that's the status on the skateboard. So let me see where we're at with that. I'm glad you liked the biography one. Well, thanks, Roman Drip. I appreciate the compliment. I'm glad I'm glad you stuck around for that long too. It's good to know that people like it enough to, keep watching. I appreciate it. Thank you. And what time is it for me? It's almost 8:30. And I'm glad you like the beard. Yeah, I like the beard too. Anyway, so since we're, let me go back and finish that one game real quick, and then I'll do doing some triggers. Oh, wait, before I do that, Mikhail or should I say that Michael? I'm not sure. Anyway, 3 cheers for Michael. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. And the crowd goes, ah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, I hope everybody has a good night too, and you as well. So if there's a thing that I do is I sometimes forget to read the messages and those things, which has been pointed out to me. Some things I'm just sucky at. All right. So over to here, and after that, and there we go. And so what is this going to be? That was weird. I hope nothing got hinked up. I just got a weird little horrible thing about OBS not responding properly. Anyway, okay, so it looks like everything's fine. Don't need the computer giving me technical errors, I'm going to say that's hooray. Nope. And I should have seen that there's that other R that, oh my goodness. Zowie. Okay, well, we're doing another 3 cheers for, upping his game for, quite an extent there. Okay, here we go. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. And the crowd goes, ah. second round of Thanks a bunch, man. That's amazingly generous. I really do appreciate it. It all helps, man. It really does. Thank you. Wow. Okay. So I should have went off of the gaming, shouldn't I have done that? Well, I'll figure out how to do this in a more graceful manner as time goes on. All right. So. All right, I'm going to try paged. What does that get me? All right. Perry, right? And then Buddy. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to put aside the keyboard for a minute. I'm going to get out of this thing for a minute. Let's go back into this thing here for a minute. Just like that. Move this a bit so it's a little bit more in the corner, I guess. All right, and then now we're going to do, I think I'm going to go straight to the beard brush today. How's that? Beard brushes first today. So, well, let's actually do it with a bit of a, how about we do the beard just for a second. Well, I appreciate the sentiment, Roman Drip, but don't ever feel obligated, man. You know, I mean, that's part of my whole left-wing spiel, right? You know, those who can, you know, is one thing, and those who need's another, right? And what's the phrase is, you know, from those who can to those who need. That's a pretty common lefty sort of phrase. But, I mean, the truth is, I mean, I do appreciate everybody's generosity, absolutely, you know, but even if like 5 people only showed up here, I'd probably still make these, you know, and if, you know what I mean? It's as important as the money is, it's not the most important thing, if that makes sense. Okay, that's enough brushing the beard. I'm going to take hairs out of it. That just seems kind of tacky. Let's not have hairs in the beard on the camera here. Anyway, okay. Doing some I've started, I guess just since, you know, probably is a good idea to talk about stuff, you know, what's going on. I'm been tinkering with the playlists on the channel. I'm also going to tinker with, you know, when you get to my channel, you know, what's there on the, you know, the landing page or whatever it is they want to call it. Yeah, but anyways, I'm getting rid of some, making some, just reorganizing stuff. Also, a thing popped into my mind the other day. I haven't done it yet because I haven't decided, you know, where I would start with it. But I'm gonna see about making some videos that are suitable for looping, as in they've been designed, you know what I mean, so that they would appear pretty seamless as they loop. Because I never even thought about taking advantage of the looping feature that, well, at least I can do on my desktop browser. I don't know if you can do it on the phone browsers or not, but I know a lot of times people like to have them. Well, I do this as well. Sometimes I'll just put something on because I just sometimes need noise in the background, right? It's a result of having lived a few years in, well, I guess several years in San Francisco. I got used to there being a city around me, you know what I mean? And so sometimes when it's real quiet, it's, I don't know, sometimes I just find there's a comfort in the noise or something, I guess. It's probably just conditioning and all of that, but anyway, with that in mind, I know that there's a lot of people that do those really long, like 12 hours of black screen, whatever, so you could just put it on in the background while you sleep. Well, I'm glad you liked the daily routine video. I'll go a little bit slower here. Tapping on the beard brush. Yeah, I guess I'm going to need to do some more inaudible. I did much better than I was anticipating, to be honest. But so, also there's a couple of things that I think I'm going to try to fold in as I move forward with that, because a couple of people have said that they liked when I did where I whispered a thing and then did the inaudible of the exact thing. Right afterwards. That it kind of made a interesting connection for them. And I thought, hey, that's a worthwhile thing to try to put together. Off the top of my head, Jared, I don't know which is the most popular. I could certainly look that up. I wonder if I could just do that. Well, here, hang on. Because I can certainly do things in the browser that you guys aren't seeing. So, go here. Let me go here. Let me go there. Let me go there. Let me go to analytics. And let me do. All right, let me just do this. And I will say, let me look at my lifetime stats. Okay, so the most popular video of mine is a show and tell from the first show and tell, I would imagine, because it's called a show and tell. So it's back from October of 2012, so it would have been a very, very early video of mine. That's probably why it has the most views. And then right on the tail end of that one is the show and tell with my books, which is actually a pretty recent video, which is kind of incredible that it's done so well in such a short amount of time. So in any case, yeah, so there's that. Put this back to the normal doop, and then I'll get out of there. I don't need to be there. We're back here. And if I got everything else where I need it to be, okay, now I can come back to the comments. And hey, Nasal Penny, good to see you. Well, since you've just arrived, I assume, Nasal Penny, that you've probably noticed that there's a double timer thing going. Anyway, I'm going to have the stream's now going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I'm going to take a break for about a minute or so every 20 minutes. That way I can keep my back from being mad at me, and then you guys can get, as much time as I can manage to muster out. The thing is, I'll be a lot more strict about bailing it, at the end of the timer. I doubt I'll stay much more than a couple extra minutes. Like 1 or 2, not... Wethund or Wheathund, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Yeah, San Diego is a lovely place, having spent a bunch of time down there myself. But weather-wise, and there's a lot to offer as far as, beaches, and you can get up to the Cuyamacas, and not that far south of, you can get up to like Mammoth and, Arrowhead and all that kind of stuff. But of course, beaches is a big, big, big appeal. And San Diego Zoo is pretty nice too. I haven't been doing much of the whispering over here while I tap over there kind of thing, have I? So I'll do a little bit of whispering over here. And then I'll do the same thing over here, but I'll whisper over on this side while I tap over there. Whispering over here 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 while I tap over there. Well, hello, am I pronouncing that Rick? Is that even at all close? Hey George, well, welcome, man. Glad you could make it. Yeah, I liked Balboa Park. I don't know if they still do it, but over in that one little amphitheater area, there's actually a pipe organ there. And they used to do these pipe organ concerts for free on Sunday nights, which was really pretty cool. Whispering over here. Oops, I think I just bumped the mic over there. Whispering, whispering, whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. Whisper over here while I tap over there. Whisper over here while I tap over there. Whisper over here while I tap over there. Yes, it says evil timer, George. Well, here's the thing, since it's coming down, winding down, I have back issues, so I have to I'm trying to work out a way of being strict enough with myself that this will work for everybody. So I will do the streams for a total of 2 hours and 20 minutes, but every 20 minutes I take a short break so I can kind of decompress my back for a second. Okay, so here it goes. So with that in mind, I will be right back. Okay, I should be back now. I think I just kicked the camera, but it looks like everything's more or less okay. All right, so what I do to decompress my back is I hang from a pull-up bar that I have, and that way it lets my body weight pull on everything, going down. I have degenerative disc disease, so it doesn't take long. I just need to, not be, the problem is the way humans sit is that it actually puts a lot of pressure on various vertebrae on the back. So yeah, sitting for a long time can be sucky for me if I'm not careful about it. But if I just get up and, I'll hang from the bar just for, just a few seconds, even is enough to kind of make a big difference. Anyway, so what am I doing? I just did the beard brush. I don't feel like doing any games just now anymore, so I might come back to that later, but let's do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do brushing on the microphones, then I'll brush on the end grain of the chunk of wood, and then I'll tap the chunk of wood. Oh yeah, it probably does, and thank you for reminding me about the break timer. I need to click that back on now, boink. And they will get out of sync, obviously, because of, the time difference, whatever, but that's fine. I just need to, Well, if you've got an idea for wicked timer or nefarious timer, I don't know, I'll have to think about that. Chirp products. I've never heard of the Chirp products. That name just cracks me up. So no, I basically just tried using, hanging. I have done some kind of weird stretches using like a balance ball, Swiss ball, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, no, I haven't tried. So I'm not even sure what they look like, to be honest, Rob. But I don't know. Interesting name, though. Anyway, what am I doing here? Brushing on the microphones. Getting all discombobulated. Sometimes it doesn't take much, man, We'll brush on the microphone a bit over here. And we'll all right, I'll have to look into that, Rob. Oh, I do have a couple of weird things that they recommended from my physical therapy place. I don't know that they have a brand name. Like one of them looks like a rolling pin, but it has these little things in it. So it's like these little, it's like a row of a bunch of little wheels, but they kind of go together like a rolling pin. But I don't know, it's a weird thing. I wonder where that thing is. I haven't used it in a while, but it's better for like when I'm dealing with tension in my hamstrings, because my hamstrings have a tendency to get tight, which of course pulls on the lower back, and that's a whole other can of worms. Anyway. Yeah, really what I'd like is to be able to have like indefinite weekly visits with the physical therapist. Oops, what do we got here? Yikes. Well, I'll tell you, yeah, I feel for you, Rob. Any kind of back pain is, I don't wish on anybody, to be honest. I've had a couple of people say that they've had good experiences with chiropractors, but I've had way more people say that don't go to chiropractors, they're quacks. You know what I mean? So just by the balance in my life of people that say, avoid, I'm going to avoid. And what else is our church? Huh, interesting. So I guess the key is if you're going to use the chirp things, make sure that you get the one that's appropriately sized to you then, yeah. Anyway, let me do it this way here. I will brush over there while I'm whispering over here. I'm going to brush over there while I'm whispering over here. And I'm going to brush over there while I'm whispering over here. Oh, we have another comment. Well, George, it sounds like it's certainly something to do with nerve pain in the spine. I mean, you might want to have it looked at if you know. Because it could be, other things contributing to it. Like until I started doing physical therapy, I hadn't realized exactly how much my hamstrings tightening up was contributing to the pain in my lower back. You know what I mean? So it might be that there's, stuff going on that they might be able to say, hey, you should work on this. Anyway, I would recommend physical therapy before I'd recommend anything like chiropractic, but that's me. And I'm not a doctor, so you probably should talk to your doctor before you take my advice. And now I will whisper over here while I'm brushing over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. And I will whisper over here while I brush over there. Okay, let's see what we got here. I know what you mean about things being unpredictable, Rob, because there's more than once that I've completely put myself out of commission just by sneezing, And that's part of my problem with it being, it's all the way up and down my spine. All my discs are just disappearing. So, it's not like there's just one area I have to be worried about. It's just, so I never know. There's times I'll just turn my head funny and I get spasms and swelling and anyway, whatever. That's enough moaning about my horrible maladies. And I whisper over here while I brush over there. And I whisper over here while I brush over there. I think I'm going to switch to brushing on the end grain of the wood. I like this sound, although I guess it is kind of quiet and subtle in a weird way. I find it appealing. You know, when I first started, well, when my back was first giving me problems before they'd even diagnosed it as degenerative discs, but this one physical therapist was saying not only should you get up and not be sitting all day long at your desk kind of thing, but he also said every few minutes just to push on your desk, to push up, that just taking a few pounds sporadically throughout the day off your back can go a long way to preventing it from getting as bad. And it kind of seemed to help actually when I was doing the office thing for when I worked at Arrow, because a big chunk of my job was not in the warehouse but was in actually the office. My favorite type 2. Oh, but hang on, it looks like I missed a couple. Oh, hey, Rexon. My favorite type of ASMR to create. It varies. And it depends on how easily it's coming. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I like reading those stories, but a lot of times if it's just coming out clumsy that time, then I don't. It feels it sucks. I like the NNSBB stuff, but that's also frustrating to make because I always get these weird ideas in my head, and then I have no idea how to make it. So I almost always end up doing something that's nothing to do with what I wanted to do originally, but it's kind of an interesting thing that came out of what I was trying to do. So they can be both fun and frustrating. Lately, I'm really having a good time making the mind test videos. I mean, I'm not really doing anything but just kind of be silly and wander around, but I'm really enjoying it. So every other Monday, Mind Test Monday. Actually, I'll do a little bit of tapping with the handle now, too. How much time we got? Oh, it's 7 something. We got plenty of time. I kind of like that. Well, Rex, I did, in the most recent mind test video, at the end of it, I kind of build a thing. So the building has begun. I have the feeling that I'll probably end up taking down some of the early buildings as I get better later on. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll find them quaint and keep them. But yeah, I was thinking one thing I'm going to try and do just for the fun of it is build replicas of houses I lived in as a kid. You know what I mean? See if I can remember and get it to be anything that looks even close to proportionally like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That might be kind of fun. But I like the idea of making up a whole bunch of buildings and, yeah, wandering around. And I know I've mentioned before, but I'm thinking also of when I figure it out and I feel, confident about that I've, done things properly or whatever, there's supposedly ways of setting up games so that they can be shared. Uh-oh. Wait, are you guys still there? Wow. That was really weird. YouTube just sort of crashed, and then it said, oh, we can no longer display this web page, and it gave me a reload button, which I clicked, and it came back, which was like, yikes. I was afraid it was gone for a minute. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Anyway, okay, here we are. Yeah, there's a fly nasal penny. It's driving me nuts. Let's see, favorite video game. Well, right now it's Mind Test. But of course that'll probably change at some point in the future. But right now, yeah, it's Mind Test. Followed in close behind by Enigma, I think. But I play the other games a lot more habitually, right? Like the, Wordle, Quordle, Octortle, Exortle, all those Ortle games, and the Worldle. I play those pretty much every morning, like when I'm having, hot morning beverages and checking my emails and, that kind of stuff. Just to sort of kind of wake up and get the brain going sort of thing. But, yeah, anyway, let me get back to it. He's asleep, okay. Sorry to bug you. Yeah, my spider roommates, you're right, man. I let him live here. Just eat the flies, man. Just eat the flies, and you're fine. Hey, Machine Gun Buck. Doing the random words. Yeah, I like word salad type stuff. I'm not sure what it is, but it appeals to me a lot. And let's do a little bit with my nails too. Hey, Heavy 7. Well, I'm happy to be part of it, man. I'm glad you're able to make it to a live stream, Heavy 7. Welcome to the gang. And I will do a little bit of tapping over there, I think. While I'm kind of talking over here a little bit. And we're talking over here while we're tapping over there. And we're talking over here while I'm tapping over there. And now I'm going to whisper a little bit closer to the microphone over here while I kind of just still tap over there. And I'll whisper a little bit here right now again too while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I tap over there. There goes the pooches. Okay. I'm going to be gone for a few minutes, but I will be right back. All right, let me go back to here, and let's kick this off again. All right, and now I can, all right. What do you know? And they're not too terribly out of sync, so yeah, good enough anyway. All right, let's see what happens while I've gone here. Oh, well, thanks, Samuel. I don't know when that'll happen. I don't know. I haven't decided on exactly what's going to go on next month yet. I mean, obviously, the mind test will happen on its normal scheduled times, and whatever the games are between them will be, alternating between real world and another computer game. Oh, excuse me. Oh, wow, Rational. Thank you very much. Again, okay, gang. 3 cheers for Rational. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. And the crowd goes, ah, ah. Thanks again, man. I really do appreciate it. And now, what am I going to do for continuing triggers and things? I think that's enough tapping on the wood for the moment. I think what I'll do is we'll do a little bit of the jar noise, and then I'll tap on it, and then I'll get out the Crinkle bag. Those dogs. Well, you're welcome. Is that Stewie? Is that, what is that? I have to read from across the thing here. Or is that just Stole? I can't tell. Is that an I or an L? I need new glasses. Well, happy Saturday to you, James. And why Tombot? Hey, how's it going? Glad you could make it. All right, let's do a little tapping with the handle here, I think. You're gonna like that. Elijah. Doing well. How about you? Do a little tapping on some glass while I'm speaking over here. A little bit of a mix between whispering and some soft speaking. Let's do that over here a little bit, huh? I'm getting in the mood for the crinkle bag. So what's first? Well, I think it's pretty typical for me to start with, but I will start with it again. More rustly than crinkly, but nonetheless I like the sound. You know, Nasal Penny, I'm not at all sure what they get up about sometimes, you know? Sometimes it's like, you know, the siren in the distance thing or whatever. Sometimes they set each other off. Over the silliest things, too. Dog barking ASMR, yeah. Well, I don't really find it very ASMR-ish, but actually there are days that I end up losing hours of potential recording time because of between people doing stuff upstairs and, you know, hearing their footsteps going along and the dogs barking or running around and hearing their nails clattering on a wooden hallway that's upstairs. It's like, yikes. I don't think we can call them pups anymore. I'm just realizing it. I think they're all several years old now. You know, James, I guess it did surprise me to some degree, but pleasantly in a way, because, you know, at some point after I came back, I also decided to take it seriously, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I was hoping that, you know, things could go well, but you're never sure what to expect, you know, and I've always been of the belief it's best not to be the arrogant prick that just assumes everybody's going to love everything you do, you know what I mean? So, you know, put it up and see what people actually did, you know? So, I am pleased with the response I've been getting. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Elijah. Them dogs get here. Man, I miss it. The dark ages. Well, you know, see, the problem is now you guys can't get rid of me. Because even if this doesn't turn into my career, I'm going to be doing it now pretty much, pretty much until I croak. Okay, let's move on to another element out of the Crinkle bag. And the next one will be the metallicized plastic, I guess, snack bar wrapper. I think I'm getting better at not accidentally triggering the camera into its weird zoomy behaviors. I don't think it's happened yet tonight. It happens a lot when I'm doing like a video chat, because I very often will gesture with my hands, and it's like, it starts doing weird zooming nonsense. It's like, it's not really what I wanted to have happen. Yeah, actually I have been getting sun lately. I've been out in the garden a bit, and also just, getting back outside and walking around more often, just because, it's good for me to walk around the world, I guess. Yep, that's right, Rob. That's my plan. I mean, I suppose there's a chance I might rearrange the room, but yeah, it's going to be that bed over there. Well, actually, Joseph, you'll be happy to know that I've changed the hours for the streams. It's still going to be always at 8, but they're going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long from now on. But the adjustment for my benefit is that every 20 minutes I take, just a short little minute or so break, so I can, stand up and kind of move my back around in a different manner to, decompress it a bit, hang from my bar or whatever. Yep, yeah, just a little over 1 more hour. Yeah, actually, James, I've been able to be okay with my back lately. I mean, I've had to, be out in the world running a couple of errands and that kind of thing, and of course the gardening and the like. But yeah, there's the thing. As long as I'm careful, and if something bad does happen, and I go preemptively, get the ice pack and sit on the recliner with the massage pad going, then I can, Yeah, I don't need them to be long, Chris. I just need to, I can hang and I can just feel the vertebrae going, just pulling off of each other, and getting a little bit of space between them. It's like, yeah, there you go. That's what we need. So, okay, let's move on to what else we're going to do out of the Crinkle bag. How about the big sort of, I'm not sure what to call this bubble wrap, because it's weirdly shaped. little bit of soft speaking as well, but I'll be crinkling over there, getting up very close to the microphone and whispering over here, but then we'll be crinkling over there. So whispering right here, but crinkling over there. So another round of whispering over here while I crinkle over there. And whisper over here and crinkle over there. And whisper over here while I crinkle over there. And I'll whisper over here while I crinkle over there. But now I have switched yet again, and I will whisper over here while I crinkle over there, and I'll whisper over here while I crinkle over there, and I'll whisper over here while I crinkle over there, and I'll whisper over here while I crinkle over there. And so, let me do this one, and I'll do those and that. Okay, so here's the original bubble wrap from when I first started doing crinkles at all. You know, MSC, that's a good question. My suspicion is that they can. You know, because I also get it from, you know, some tactile things now and again. And sometimes visual stimulation. Although for me the most reliable thing is a woman's voice. I mean, softly spoken or whispering kind of thing. But especially if you throw in like they're, you know, doing something, right? You know, like soft speaking while keyboard noises, that kind of thing, yeah. But the main attraction for me is the female voice. Ah, there go the pooches again. But there are male guys that I talk to. I mean, I know I've mentioned it before. Or not talk to, but listen to. I mean, interesting. So MSE, what's your most reliable trigger, audio-wise? Well, I guess it would have to be audio-wise. You just said that you'd only get it off audio. Okay, now, this one, which is more or less the same size as the original one, except for this one's a pouch. This one is bigger, but it is also a pouch. So I like to do these two together because, I don't know, I just think they go well together. And I can kind of hold one over there and one over here. And they're similar enough to be pleasing, but different enough to be distinguishable. Softly spoken reading, okay. I think maybe I might do another story reading one sometime soon. I kind of haven't done them very much recently just because they weren't doing so well, but I also don't want to just stop doing them either, you know, because some people I know do like them. Oops, okay. All right, so I will be back briefly. And I'm back, so let me kick off for the next round, whatever. There we go. Now let me get that back behind that. There we go. So, doing the pouches. And we'll continue with the pouches. There was somebody a while back left a comment on one of the videos that they liked. It was a recent one where I kind of did a lot of repetition. Anyway, they were saying that they liked the idea of repetition thing, and then I was the other night. One of the things I like to listen to when I'm, you know, wanting to have something, you know, sound-wise being pleasant in the background kind of thing, is I'll listen to various chants. So I was thinking I'm going to construct my own sort of chant or something. And, I don't know, a Bill original chant. And then try to make it sound like there's a bunch of me, you know, chanting. Like if it was a whole ashram of me. Anyway, we'll see if I can figure out how to make that be something reasonable to listen to. And we'll do some speaking over here while we're crinkling in both places, really. The smaller one's over here and the bigger one's over there, right? So, huh. Tongue in your ear, interesting. You know, I don't really like ASMR food videos. Hey Elijah, how's it going? And I guess I'll do a little bit of speaking. Oops. I'll do a little bit of speaking over here. So you dig the ASMR cooking thing, eh? I don't know what it is, but me and ASMR food just doesn't work. Oh, I have seen the French Whisperer before, MSC. He's one of the few male guys I will watch occasionally. I like him once in a while. Well, I've mentioned before Massage ASMR, and of course ER once in a while. And ASMRctica, is that it? He's a Swedish guy, I think. I like him a lot too. Yeah, sometimes the eating stuff is a little gross. I'll agree with you on that one. All right, I'm going to switch to the large bag now. Who's the sweetest guy? Oh, Swedish is what I meant. Oops, I just kicked the camera. Don't be doing that, Bill. Okay, looks like everything's more or less still where it needs to be. You know, there probably are peanut butter and jelly sandwich videos, but speaking over here while I'm doing more low-pitched crinkle sounds out of the larger plastic bag. I'll lean over here a little bit, and then I will move the crinkling over to there. You know, I don't think I've ever seen a tour of an antique store. That seems like that could be interesting. I guess we have to be quiet. We don't want to wake up Elijah. speak over here. And I will move the bag around a bit as I crinkle it, while I maintain speaking over here kind of softly. I will move the bag around, and I will move my voice over to the other microphone. So now I'll be over here. I'll whisper rather closely here now. And move back off just a bit. Just. Oh, I just thought of a thing. So I've actually started my attempt at making my own homemade ginger ale. So I have a ginger bug that I started, and I've also started doing the next phase of getting a big batch that I can then put into separate bottles. So. So, I don't know, depending on how things go, I might, a week to 10 days from now, I might have, homemade ginger ale. Find out. Speaking over here, a lot of crinkling down there. Do a little speaking over here, a little bit of crinkling down there. A little bit of speaking, and a little bit of crinkling, and a little bit of speaking, and a little bit of crinkling. Now I think I will put everything back into the crinkle bag, which I suppose in and of itself is a little crinkly, right? All right, so. Okay, I need to check comments. It looks like I just saw some go in the corner of my eye. Well, thanks, James. Yeah, that's Elijah, that's the thing. It just seems like, ginger, sugar, and water, right? And then, of course, you do the whole, let it do its own natural carbonation, and then it's good for your gut and all that kind of stuff. So. And so, what is that? I don't know the whole beginning of your name, Sunset, but that's interesting. In any case, what am I going to do next here? Do I want to go back and play any more games? I don't see it. I know what you mean, MSE. There's a lot of the role play stuff that's a little tired. I think it comes down to one of those things that humans do, right? They see something that works for somebody else, and they think, oh, I should do one of those too. You know what I mean? And I know, yeah, it's kind of a, I don't know. I mean, I don't do role play. I don't do role plays. Not that I think they're evil or bad or anything like that. I just don't. I don't know. It's just not anything that appeals me to do. There's some that I've seen that I thought were really good, but yeah, there's a bunch that are just sort of, yeah, they're derivative. You're right. You know, I mean, I think one of the things that makes ER so interesting is that he's got, you know, a crazy imagination, so he's always coming up with stuff. So, yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah, most people are just kind of doing the same stuff, aren't they? Oh, you know who I do like that does, that's also a male voice, is that guy. Oh man, his name just left my head. Oh man. Lloyd. That's the guy, Lloyd. Lloyd ASMR. I really like that guy. He's just got a really good sort of pace. Actually, I'm a little jealous of his pace. He seems to be really good at just being a lot slower, you know. I find myself always fighting my urge to just go, you know. Anyway, I can do any more. Yeah, let's tap on the wood a little bit, I guess. And then I'll do the, well, you know, let me do the beard brush first, and then I'll tap on the chunk. We haven't got up to 60 yet tonight. I think I looked it up, was it last week or the week before, excuse me, I think my peak is like 64 or something like that, viewers at one time. Which is pretty cool, because once upon a time I, you know, was lucky to break a dozen. You know, I wonder, I think, you know, when you say about that stuff that it's made for young women, I don't know that I necessarily think that it's made for young women, though. You know, I mean, I understand, like, you know, when it's tutorials and stuff, it seems like that's the case. But I'm wondering what the demographic is that actually consumes it. You know what I mean? Because I'd always assumed that most of the girls, that even though it was kind of makeup and clothing oriented stuff, which typically gets associated with, you know, the female gender sort of thing, I don't know. I guess I just have this jaded view that it's, you know, a bunch of, you know, lust-driven men drooling over young girls, you know. And certainly that's not the entirety of their fan base, but, you know, it's just sort of just the way that it blew up so quickly that it's like that suddenly ASMR was pretty much like the vast majority of ASMR creators are very attractive women who, you know, generally have decent makeup and, you know, attractive clothing that they, you know, obviously put some effort into, you know, trying to put their best self forward, I guess, which is fine, you know. I don't know, maybe I'm just jaded or whatever, but, and the other thing is that, yeah, I don't know, sometimes that stuff doesn't quite connect for me. Like, I watch a fair amount of Maria's role plays, but in truth, the ones I like better are like her Crinkle shirt ones, or where she's talking about like her ring collection, or, you know, that kind of thing. Those are the ones I like best. Oh, and 3 of my favorites of hers are, one is just called Such a Good ASMR or something like that is the title, and it starts off where she's talking about using her Wonder Brush tapping on it like that. And then she has the oil warmer, that one. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. And then there's two that are kind of the same, two videos of the same thing, more or less. And she's doing hair play with this young woman sitting in front of her, and she's like doing, you know, French braids and the like. And she has one where it's essentially the same video as once is soft-spoken and once is whispering. You know, you might be right, Rob, as far as it being more men consuming it. And well, like my, you know, assuming you can believe that the demographic information that I get off of YouTube is that like 90-something% of my audience is male between the ages of like 18 and 35. That's far and away the vast chunk of my audience. You know, maybe I should do a dress try-on haul. I don't think anybody wants to see my skinny, hairy ass in the dress, though. Okay, hang on. There's my next break time is so I'll be right back. Back to here, and let me go back to this thing. Let's kick the next one off. Okay. And now let me see if I can catch up on comments. Oh, hey Chris, how's it going? I don't know when I'll be doing another biography video. Yeah, it definitely will be happening. I don't know, because I'm trying to kind of, you know, do stuff so that, you know, that I'm not always doing the same thing in a row, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, so I don't know, it'll probably be more than a month anyway before I get back around to doing that. Yeah, she does really, MSC, yeah, she does those collection videos are really good. I also like, there's a couple that she did where she's talked about fabrics. That's a really good one. Holy mackerel, that's a good one. Why, you still haven't checked out Maria? How does somebody not know Maria? It just baffles me. She's just been such the kind of that, I don't know. So what am I looking for now? I was doing beard brush. I'll do a little bit more beard brush, I guess. And then I'll get to the chunk of wood, I suppose. Hey, Jules. I'm well, and you? Yeah, those towel folding ones are good too, yeah. Well, you know, that's cool, Rob. I mean, truthfully, you should like who you like. You know what I mean? You know, you don't need to let anybody like me tell you anything, you know? Well, thanks, Sunset. I'll do a little bit of soft speaking over here while I do a little bit of tapping over there. Speaking over here is more or less meaningless nonsense, but the tapping isn't really meaning much of anything either, is it? We'll do some soft speaking here and some tapping over there and some soft speaking over here and some tapping over there and some soft speaking over here. Well, I do some tapping over there. Now I'm going to switch mics. And now I will do some soft speaking over here while I tap over there. And I will do some soft speaking over here while I tap over there. And I will do some soft speaking over here while I do some tapping over there. And I will do some soft speaking over here while I do some tapping over there. So we got someone I would recommend. Let me think about that because there's probably several. I would recommend ASM Marvelous. I would also recommend Maria. Gentle Whispering, right? Gentle Whispering ASMR, that's Maria. If you haven't seen Ephemeral Rift, he's worth checking out. He's a guy, but he does some crazy, weird stuff. So if you're interested in crazy, weird stuff, he's worth checking out. He does a lot of strange role plays. He's very much into like Lovecraft and that kind of thing. I've been watching a lot of, I think it's Alana ASMR, is that her name? Just recently. Who else have I been watching just recently? Shortbread or something like that. She's a Scottish lady. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's off the top of my head. That's what comes to mind right now. But okay, anyway, so what is the best piece of advice you can give to somebody? Man, I don't know, man. But I'm not sure. I mean, stuff like that has to be, contextual, I suppose. So I guess the best advice I could give you is be wary of advice. Yeah, Maria's got a gigantic following. Hey, Mercury. I don't know, is there anybody that has a bigger following than Maria? I mean, she kind of became the queen of ASMR pretty early, which is fine. I mean, she's super talented and she seems to be a really nice human. Let's see what else we have here. Well, I'm glad that maybe I could offer you a little bit of help there, Mercury. And you only have about 25 minutes left, but, that's better than zero. And let me do some more tapping on the beard brush. Yeah. Arf, arf. Oh, just for on the updating on the garden thing, I planted some more jade plants. My sister had some starters that she took from a different plant, and they got, mature enough to have roots that would be, sufficiently sturdy for them to go into the ground. So put them into the ground the other day. I think the next thing is I'm going to go get myself some coyote mint. And I'm going to plant those in a particular part. Well, anyway, yeah. At some point in time, I'll have to take a picture of this thing, and when it's all done, say, hey, look, here's a garden I did. Oh, and somebody suggested that I should make a version of it in Mind Test. Which I think I might do, as close as I can with the plants that they have available anyway. Yeah, I could do some beard brushing right now. How's that? I'll do it thinking because I got a bit of a... I'll go over here on this side now. Right? Oops, hang on a quick sec. Now I have to go back to the thing. It always does that and hijacks everything. So let's go back to timer. There we are. That's my 10 p.m. I have to eat gabapentin pill alarm. So hang on. Eat the damn pill, Bill. There, I've eaten my pill. Anyway. ASMR guided meditation. I think I have a couple of guided meditations. Well, I mean, I know I do, but maybe I should make a playlist of those and separate them out as well. I don't think I've done a bunch of them, but they're pretty much the, scan your body, relax your hands, and your forearms, and, that whole thing, kind of guided, progressive, body scan sort of thing. But the story ones are, I'd love to make those, but that's just, I'm not really an author, so it's like that kind of thing, I get that kind of inspiration once in a very rare bit of time, like once in a blue moon, I guess is the phrase, right? Yeah, I will be doing Enigma again, probably soon. Let me look at this really quick. What's my... You know what? I will do Enigma after the next Mind Test Monday. Oh, actually, is that right? No. Yeah, because we just had a Mind Test Monday, and next Monday is going to be physical backgammon, and then Mind Test Monday, and then the Monday after that will be Enigma. So, yeah, that's what will be happening. Hey, the Wizard Tuesday. Thank you. Man. Okay, gang, we all know how this goes. 3 cheers for the wizard. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. And the crowd goes, ah. Thanks very much, man. I really do appreciate it. Groovy, groovy, groovy. And it's a, what is that character that's waving at me? Is it like a lemon head out of that Adventure Time sort of thing? Okay. Let me take some of these dead hairs out of my brush. Maybe I'll do a little bit more beard brushing, just because I don't really do it that often, do I? Seems odd since I have, like the ideal beard for it. I don't know. Would anybody be interested? Like if I did, like, I could brush and braid my beard, that would be like a whole video. Would that appeal to anybody? I think the next episode of Enigma, thanks the wizard. That's super cool, man. But what I was going to say about the next Enigma game is that I recently discovered a part in the game where there's more to one of the menus than I'd realized, and so there's like a whole lot of games that I didn't know were there. So I think the next time I'm going to spend a little bit of time just kind of looking at what that's all about. Yeah, I don't know. I think doing some Viking braids or something like that. Yeah, I'll have to. Let's go get some hair ties or something. Or I could just go get some of those little barrettes or something. That would be silly. Like the kind of thing you give like little, kindergartner, little plastic things, well, whatever. I mean, the truth is, I don't really do anything special for the beard, you know what I mean? Once in a while, I'll put like some coconut oil in it or something like that, but mostly I just wash and condition it and leave it alone. I mean, I brush it and stuff like that, but, let's do some more tapping with it. I like that noise too. And maybe I should have my hair. Maybe I should have my sister braid my hair or something, you know what I mean? And I could do my own beard. Something like that for a video. I don't know. Interesting thought. I think that might be something that ends up finding its way into the occasional thing to do. Oh, and judging from everybody's comments, I think I'm going to have to start putting in inaudible whispering as a pretty regular thing. I don't know whether I'll just do versions of things inaudibly or whether I'll just figure out something to do. I think I'll probably just make them be their own thing. Rather, like, you know, instead of doing, like, you know, inaudible gameplay whispering or something like that, you know. Although it would be suitable for some of the word type puzzle, or not puzzle, but word type videos I've done, like, you know, where it's words with CT and stuff like that. You know, Missy, I've never had it get caught in anything like, you know, toasters or garbage disposals or fans or whatever, but I have had it get in food. Okay, it looks like the last break time is coming up. So now's the time to start thinking if you have any last minute questions or whatever. And also what will be the last, say, 10 minutes or so of what I'm going to do, triggering or talking or whatnot. But in any case. Okay. Okay, there we go, I'm back. I guess I will just tap on the chunk of wood for the remainder of the thing as I read whatever the last bits of comments will be. Anyway, so there's going to be the new regime, I think, as far as the evil timer and the break timer. I suppose I could just call it Evil Timer Junior, couldn't I? I don't know. Does anybody else have any? What were the other comments, suggestions? I don't remember. How about Pesty Timer? Or Pesky Timer? I don't know. Excuse me. Yeah, you know, nuisance timer, that sounds pretty good. And I'll speak softly over here while I'm doing that tapping over there. Now I'll talk over here briefly while I'm tapping over there. I will whisper a little bit over here while I still tap over there. And I will whisper over here while I tap over there. And now I'm going to switch mics again. And now I will whisper over here while I tap over there. I will whisper over here while I tap over there. And I whisper over here while I tap over there. And I whisper over here while I tap over there. And I whisper over here while I tap over there. And now I'll whisper over here while I tap over there. And I whisper over here while I tap over there. And I whisper over here while I tap over there. Now I will whisper very closely and quietly to the mic while I'm tapping over there. Maybe even going just a bit slower while I'm whispering fairly close to the microphone and tapping over there fairly slowly. And I whisper over here quietly and close to the mic while I tap over there. Actually, I do have a couple of reading videos, Elijah. They're usually short stories than a book, really, just because, well, that's all I ever set aside time to read. But yeah, I kind of fell out of doing the reading ones. Well, a couple of reasons. One, they're difficult because I kept having to retake them because of noises coming in from upstairs. Like, for whatever reason, doing the reading ones, I feel like it really has to be quiet. Otherwise, it kind of messes up the whole, book on tape 5 or whatever it is, So there's that aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it is people just don't tend to watch them as readily as the other videos. So part of it is a bit of that, give the people what they want, so to speak. I mean, I'm only going to make videos I like making, but out of the dozens of videos I might choose to make, I might as well make the ones that I think other people are going to want to watch, right? So, I don't know. I'll probably get back around to doing some more reading, just because I think it's valuable, and some people do like them, even if they're not in the giant minority, or majority, excuse me. Yeah, but reading a whole book, that would be a thing, because I'd have to figure, I think, at least in my mind, I'd want to set something up so that if I was going to do that, that it would be like the Mind Test Monday thing, you know what I mean, where it happened regularly, so it would be sort of a predictable output. Because that kind of stuff tends to, I think, get into people's head as a serialized event, right? You know what I mean? But anyway, thanks for the idea. It's a good thing to consider nonetheless. Anyway, I will now whisper quietly and fairly closely to this microphone while I tap over there pretty slowly. And I'm going to whisper over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And now I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. And I'm whispering over here while I'm tapping over there. That's an interesting idea, MSC, because then it doesn't really matter where you start and stop, does it? You're just kind of taking segments of text out and reading it, right? That might be worth doing. I could just randomly choose something out of that Project Gutenberg. I mean, if you have anything, if anybody ever wants to suggest something for me to read, that's the best place to go find it, on Project Gutenberg, just because I like the idea of promoting them, because their whole point is to get everything that's public domain that people are supposed to be able to have access to use, that's actually available for that to occur, right? I know, which is, it's funny, we talk about how, the internet is, all of human knowledge. It's like, that's a bunch of information. That's, I don't know if it qualifies as knowledge until it's actually in the human head doing knowing, right? But, but it's like it's like, what's the point of having it all there if we're not actually accessing it to use for any particular purpose? So, anyway, so I encourage you all to go to Project Gutenberg, and you can get everything from Tom Jones by Fielding to, probably Mallory's Le Morte d'Arthur, or Ideals of the King, or if you want to get, Sherlock Holmes or Tarzan or any of this kind of stuff, right? Anyway, hello, Lucas. If you're just arriving, you're just like at the end of it. the bell just went off, man. So I'm going to go ahead and make that not visible, because there's no point in looking at it if it's just telling us that the stream is over. So I guess that's going to be it for tonight, gang. Does anybody have any last minute desperate questions? I'll give you just a couple of seconds, and otherwise I'm just going to say nighty-night. History of spaceflight. Yeah, that could be interesting. has struck. Well, at least we're going to 1020 now. So, actually a little bit over, but that's all right, yeah. But we will find out. I'm actually, I can tell that this is going to be fine. This is the better, if, it lets me give you guys more time, and I can just tell from just doing those short breaks is more than enough for me to be able to not feel like crap tomorrow about it. So, yippee-yay. So there's the new regime for Rob, man, there's just no pleasing you, man. All right, gang. So I'm going to call that done. I'll see you guys next Saturday at 8, and aloha, siblings.